Hi everybody. Today we're going to be editing a photo. A couple photos actually, and I thought I'd bring you along. Just did a street photography a little bit ago. You'll probably see a POV video on that one. It was in downtown Albany. I don't know if this video is after it or not, but that doesn't really matter. Today we're going to edit some photos. I'm going to show you how I edited a couple of them. So let's edit some photos. Welcome. Alright. Let's do this. If you want to know how to record your screen on a MacBook, all you have to do is Shift Command 5 and that brings up a whole screen recording section. Okay, here we go. Let's open Lightroom and import some photos. These are all the photos from downtown. We'll go through and pick some good ones out. Let's try this one first. You can see that on our histogram we are a little bit overexposed. As you can see, we're going to turn that on. So the red means it's overexposed. If there's blue, that means it's going to be underexposed, but you can see it's not underexposed at all right here. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're actually going to use the histogram, and you can just grab the histogram pieces. So this would be whites. So we'll go ahead and just grab up here, and let's just move it just tiny bit down. It's still going to be red, but we can fix that in our tone curve. Alright, so we move the whites down just a little bit. We're just going to go to tone curve because this is, oops, don't do that. Because this is where I usually start, but I wasn't really thinking. So you're going to put 3 dots in the middle. This is so this is your whites, highlights, midtones, shadows, blacks. So we're going to start with our highlights. We're just going to move that up a little bit, barely. That's going to make the exposure come up a little bit, but that's okay. I'll show you why in a second. And then we're going to give some contrast by going to the shadows and just dropping it a little bit. So we're not underexposed, so we can leave this here. We're going to leave it like that. We don't need to crush any blacks, but we are definitely overexposed. So we're going to come up to our whites. This is the top piece, and we're going to crush that just a little bit. Or a lot of it. It really doesn't matter. It depends on your taste. So I'm going to put it right there. Let's add a little bit more contrast. Let's move this down just a little bit. Midtones, we're going to move it to the left just a little bit, like that. We're going to take out some of the contrast, go to 10, -10. Now dehaze. Clarity, texture, clarity, dehaze. It's every beginner's favorite section because we all love to pump the texture all the way up and the clarity all the way up. It looks amazing. Okay, instead of doing that, we're actually going to, let's just put these back. We're going to take the clarity down. We'll go -15, let me zoom in. We're going to do clarity at 30. And texture, see, we don't want it like that. That just looks way too sharpened. It looks kind of like a phone picture. So, we're just going to leave the texture at 0. Dehaze, I love dehaze. I love it. I'm going to put some in. It just gives it this flavor almost. I just like it. I like how it looks. So we are going to put some dehaze in there. A little bit more. We'll go to 25. Now you can see once you put dehaze in, a lot of times your blacks, like mine, are going to get underexposed. So we'll just go to the tone curve, grab this right here, and we're just going to slide it up the tiniest bit, because what that does is it crushes your blacks. As you can see in the picture, when I go up it crushes more. We're just going to move that tiniest bit up, and it kind of makes it like an endless black almost. So crushed blacks, there we go. Color mixer. This is where it kind of depends on what you're going for. So I'm going to make a moody picture. Usually when I edit, I like to edit them either into this darker, moodier picture or a filmier look. Even though it's not film, I'm still going to try for it. But today we're going to make this look a little bit moodier. So what we're going to do, we're going to saturation, turn them all off. And that will give us it'll be a lot easier to play with the colors when they're all off. That way you can see what they're affecting. So red, let's go and turn that all the way up. we don't need red because it's only touching that right there, this right here. So we're gonna actually just leave red at nothing. Orange, that's touching a lot more. So for now we're gonna go -20. Yellows, that's touching a whole lot. That's touching basically all the buildings, and most of the leaves are kind of that yellowish color. So we're gonna put that at 20 as well, I guess. Green, I think we're gonna leave. We're gonna put green to -50. Aqua, not really doing anything, so we're gonna leave that off. Blue, affecting the sky a little bit, so we'll just put it at 0. Purple and magenta, those are kind of my nemesis, because I'll finish a photo, I'll export it, and then I'll realize that on some of the finer details, the purple and the magenta are like just popping on the edge of those, and I don't like it. It's almost like a little halation, but it's not. So I really don't like that, so I usually leave those at -100, and I think that's fine. Now we'll go to luminance, red, just turn it down a little bit. It doesn't really matter right there. Orange, that is affecting a lot moodier picture, so we're gonna turn this down to 60. Yellow, we're gonna turn that down to -30. I don't want to go too far to where it kind of looks like you pumped in a bunch of noise reduction. That's what it looked like to me. We don't want that. So we're not gonna move it all the way down. Here's the example. If I put it all the way down, it just kind of makes it look fake. I don't like that at all. We're gonna put it at -30. I think that's fine. Green, we're gonna actually pump that up to 30, I think. That'll be fine. Like that. For a second. Yeah, I like that. That looks really good to me. Color grading, I don't think I'm going to do anything there. We're going to go back to tone curve, click blues, put our points back, and let's see, what if I go this way? Okay, so you can see what that's affecting when I do that. So what we're going to do, we're going to move that up just a tiny bit in the highlights and in the shadows. We're going to move it up just the tiniest bit. Mid-tones, we're going to move it down. This is not an S-curve, but we're going to do it anyway. Alright, now we can go back to basic temperature, cool everything down just a little bit. Lens correction, always just enable it, because a lot of times it'll affect your exposure. So you can see mine, I've got a little vignette on it, so we'll turn that on. And we're gonna add another vignette almost with the masks. We'll do some linear masks in a second. Detail, don't need to do anything. I would just leave it alone. Color grade, we kind of did that with the tone curve. Now we're good to go to crop and mess with that. Let's make sure it's flat first. That looks pretty much lined up with that. What do you think? I think that looks pretty flat to me. But we are going to crop in just a tiny bit. Just make it a little bit more square. Just like that. That looks pretty good. Oh, we are a little bit farther to this side, so I'm going to square that. There we go. Alright, that looks good to me. So, the dog is having an attitude. Stop barking! Stop barking, stop. Stop. Alright, so healing, this is nothing compared to Photoshop. If there's anything big in here that you need to fix, go to Photoshop, do it in there. Really, I don't need to touch anything in here. If I was gonna heal something, I would grab this and we could just brush over that. Analyze, takes it away, kind of. But if you're gonna do anything like that, just go to Photoshop, it'll be a lot easier in there. But luckily we don't have to fix anything in there. So now we can just go to masking and we're about done. We're gonna do linear gradient first, that way we can get our vignette almost look to it. go in the corner, and we're going to turn down the exposure. Just a little bit. That might be a little bit over, but we'll fix that. There we go. Alright, now let's create a new mask, another linear gradient. So the point why we're doing the masks is to focus the person's eyes onto the subject. In this case, the bush, the plant, the pot bush thing is our subject, so our masks need to lead the eyes to the subject. So what I'm looking for is, where's the sun at? The sun is on our top right side, right here. So we're going to take the gradient, flip it around, like that, and now we will turn the exposure down just a touch. Turn it like that. Okay. Create new mask. Now we're going to grab a radial gradient, and we're going to place it up here. Like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down to dehaze, and we're going to turn the dehaze down. Like right about -50. Now we'll grab this and we'll move it up just a little bit more. Alright, so that just kind of makes the sun look like it's kind of leaking through almost on the side. I really like that look. It gives it more of a, gives it kind of a flavor to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the select subject. Let's select subject. That'll grab that. And we're going to bring up the exposure just a tad. We're going to take away some of the contrast. About, I can't get it to 40. 40, there we go. Where's background? Select background, there we go. Turn the contrast up a little bit to, let's go 30. 30 looks pretty good. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. I like it.